What's up, everybody? Welcome back into our episode of The Lawyer You Know. And today we've got an interview done by Brian Enton with Mickey Stines, the sheriff in Kentucky's lawyer, but also some other clips of Mickey Stines after he's put in handcuffs, concerns he has, how scared he is. This is a case that intrigues me so much. I really don't know what is going on and what happened. I realize people do bad things and we can't explain it a lot of times. This just didn't feel like that. It always felt like there was more to this case and more to this trial that may be coming here eventually. And everything we can get about it, everything we can learn about it, some of it's kept, hush hush, some of it's kept confidential. I am so interested in the true story and what really happened. We know sometimes we don't find that out in these cases, but some little breadcrumbs are being laid. That's why I want to put out this video, react to this interview, react to some of these clips because it's very strange and they continue to indicate that there is more to this story. So if you guys are following this one, let me know by hitting the like button and commenting that you are following this case in Kentucky. Let's get to it. So Brian Enton's the best, and he has been doing a bunch on this. And some of you have sent me some other things, but I like the legal side of it. He's the journalist. He's going to do the investigative reporting and bring us the facts and what's going on. This is an interview with Mickey Stines' lawyer, who's going to give us some indication of some things they may be arguing and how they may affect the case. But right before we get to that interview, we are going to see some of these clips where he's talking to law enforcement, and it's very obvious that he's nervous about something. He's scared about something. He's choosing which officer, and talk about special treatment. I'm pretty sure they don't let every criminal defendant in handcuffs pick which officer is going to transport them to the jail, but he wants to know what's going to happen. Where's he going to go? He's afraid for his safety. Don't beat on me. Don't hurt me. Don't do this to me. He says things like that just very, very strange in these circumstances. And then when we hear from the lawyer, I think it's starting to get more of a picture. We're far from the full picture, but we're getting some breadcrumbs, like I said.
Yeah, but me, I'm gonna go outside.
Well, yeah, I understand why you're worried, but at the same time, you know how it is for something like this. We're going to be worried about you in the jail down here with local people.
Right now, I'm alive and well, no weapons on me. So
we're worried about you. So it's like you throw the sheriff in there. There's probably some people that he put in jail and that want some revenge on him, but he's like, I'm alive and well with no weapons on me.
if I leave this building, I won't draw another breath.
We're going to...
If I leave this building, I won't draw another breath. Now, we have to remember, these fears could be very legitimate. These fears could be something that have to do with whatever's going on in the background and why he did what he did. Or these fears could be completely abstract and have nothing to do with reality if he is suffering from some mental break, right? We have to remember that could be an element of this case. And these are things that could absolutely come in at trial from either side.
in one of these rooms, and we're going to talk real fast.
We got not one of these right here.
I don't know. I think they cleared one out. So
You're just safe doing that.
why? I ain't gonna let them have it. Okay, I ain't gonna let them have it. So don't worry about that. I'll stick with you until you go to your cell. Okay, you'll be all right. I promise you. What? You know, we just talked about we known here forever. I ain't gonna let nobody hurt you. So see everything.
I don't care if everybody hears. I just don't feel safe.
Okay, well.
He's like, I ain't going to hurt you. I've known you my whole life. You know me. And he's like, okay, I'm just going to check this out. He goes, I don't care if everybody sees it. I don't care if everybody hears me. I don't feel safe. Especially after what he just did that we all saw on camera. For him not to feel safe, it's like, what's going on?
Here you should feel safe. There's cameras here. There's people everywhere. People in there. So if we pull up some chairs right here, we should talk to us right here.
And you don't have a problem with transport stuff.
Well, that's transport is another issue. We'll make sure you're safe on that too. We'll wait till after we get done talking.
I ain't trying to be difficult, guys, but I don't feel safe.
We got to know what led to this, Mickey. What transpired leading up to this? Because I know it just didn't happen for no reason. Something's happened. Everything has a reason why it happened and why somebody acts the way they did.
Just be fair to me.
We'll be fair to you.
Just don't beat on me.
I ain't gonna be on you. Nobody else is gonna be on you. You know that.
Don't shoot me. Somebody don't kill me, man.
Nobody's gonna shoot you. Nobody's gonna kill you.
Don't do that. Don't shoot me. Kill me stuff.
Let's talk about it. What happened today?
Which jail we're going to?
I think that's positive, Mickey. I think they transport you to Leslie County Jail.
For your safety. For your safety. And Mickey, you've been around most.
I'll never make it to Leslie County Jail.
Hey, who do you want to? Who do you want
Put me in
to?
Leslie County Jail. I can kill there. I can kill me in jail. It's not possible to do it.
Who do you want to transport you? Of all the police officers here, who do you want to go with you? It'll be okay.
So they literally let him pick the police officers that are going to go with him so that he feels safe. Again, could be a mental break, could be a legitimate fear. Both of those could work in their favor as far as their defense goes. But very clear, something's going on here.
You have to be at least one KSB officer. Even if you ask one of your deputies, who Jason Bates is going to transport you. I'll go with Jason Bates. You know me and Bates our whole lives. You know we ain't going to do anything to you. I'll go with Bates down there with you.
Nick, why do you think we're going to do something to you? I don't understand.
Like, we don't get it. Why do you think we're going to do? And the other officer's like, I'm offended. Why don't you want me to transport you? I don't get it. It's, again, it's not clocking, right? Which is, again, important for the defense. If he's saying stuff that totally don't make sense, that are not within grips of reality, that could be good to proving a mental break. And they have all of this after the fact. We talk about it all the time. These psychotic breaks, what you do after the fact can be so important in proving either self-defense, a psychotic break, any affirmative defense you have. After the fact, that evidence can really go a long way. And to me, this is important for the defense.
Why would we want
There's
to
somebody on the way. Y'all stop when somebody on the way.
No.
We're going to stop and let somebody do something to you?
No.
That's actually kind of insulting. We do that.
We've never
Look, I know this is obviously a very crappy situation, but I assure you that we have no intentions of harming you.
I've worked with you for a long time. You know how I work. You know how I operate. I've always been fair with anybody. They say he's transported. Yeah. So who's waiting on Leslie County Jail or
Okay.
yeah, just be fair to me, man. Give me a trial. You know, give me a trial.
Well, you know we're going to be fair to you. You've known us for.
Yeah, man. Box lift, just be fair to me, man. Give me a trial.
I told him I'll ride with you too to make sure nothing.
Yeah, he can ride with me. Yeah, he can ride with me. That makes you feel better. I mean, yeah, I understand why everybody come in huffy puffy, but there's several events.
Well,
It's about-
emotions are high when things happen like that. They don't know who, if you would still want to be aggressive towards them.
I was already cussed, man, sitting down, and
Okay. I know.
the other guys are patting me down and stuff.
That's something that will happen when they take him outside to the Sally Port.
We'll be down there a little bit, Bates. I just want to talk to you for a second. So,
Be down there.
Sally Port, when we get done talking, we'll go down there. You got gas already, full tank?
I got 3/4. Which way are we going to the Sally Park?
No, not outside.
I don't want to go back that way.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
What's the best way to go? I don't know. What's the best way to go, Bates?
I think it is probably that way in the elevator.
Yeah, I don't know.
We can all walk with you.
We'll figure that out.
I promise you, man. Listen, I promise you. You've known me and him for what? Since we were 14.
Okay, fair to me.
And I promise you.
You're literally sitting there trying to convince him. How many times have you ever seen that with somebody in handcuffs? Like, no, I promise. You've known me since I was 14. I get it. There's a different relationship. This is obviously different, but just the respect shown, that to me goes a long way. And who here in this group and circle of people with all their body cams on, who knows what's going on? Who knows about the background? Who knows about the ring? Who knows about the guy that got arrested? What information do they have? That's also interesting because does Mickey and Stines know, hey, you're a problem. You're not a problem. Is he not saying anything? Does he not want to say it out loud? That's interesting to me as well.
This right here is the Leslie County Jail, and they beat the hell out of me and killed me and stuff there.
Nothing like that.
They're not
They're going to take me to the county jail and beat the hell out of me and kill me. That's what he said.
gonna do that. I promise. And I ain't got nothing on me now. Don't get me back there. Of course, I had the crime scene, me and the dead. But people see me.
No.
Listen, the elevator's right there.
Don't they go down the Sally
In the
Port?
car or anything.
Heck, you
So
know,
who's all going on transport?
Me and him. I'll go with him. I'll be in the front, the passenger. He'll be the driver.
I'm pretty sure that's 3/4 of my game.
Cameras will be cameras will be on. Everything will be good.
Yeah, I know that.
He's like, he's going back and forth. I'm looking at this as a defense lawyer. And if I'm trying to prove this guy's having a mental break or a psychotic break, I'm using some of what he's saying here. Either that or he very clearly knows people are involved and he, reacted to that and did something because he was trying to protect his family. He had a break because of the threats made to his daughter, his wife. I don't know, right? I don't know all the details, but I'm looking at this. This video is absolutely going to be evidence of something the defense is trying to prove in this case.
Okay, Mickey. So listen, do you want to tell us what happened? That's up to you. I'm not.
Now they're like, do you want to tell us what happened? You know the rules. You know how this works. We're not going to trick you. Do you want to just come out and tell us what happened?
I'm not trying to force you. It's up to you if you want to tell us what happened. I mean, like I said, something led up to this. It just didn't happen. We would just like to know why it transpired this way. If you don't want to, that's up to you. You don't want to talk about it?
No. Okay. You don't answer.
No.
No, Vicky, why in the world would we do that?
Are you sure you don't want to talk about it? Just making sure. And if not, then we'll try to figure out the transport situation.
What do you mean, try to figure out? You already told me where it was.
Well, how we're going to take you down there and stuff. So
Y'all gonna get me. I know you
No, why would you think that, Nick?
He literally is like, y'all gonna get me. These are guys that said, you've known us since we were 14, dude. You kind of just handpicked us. Why do you think we're gonna get you? But he's convinced. He is convinced.
Let's just get it over, man. Let's just go.
Let's just get it over with. Let's just go. He is fully and firmly convinced they are going to get him. Does he know something about them that we don't know? Or is it just, has he lost grip with reality?
You don't want to let us know what happened? Okay. Just if you don't care to hang tight, because I took home some of this property, I just need to give that to somebody. I'm probably
Come on now, you guys are
no.
do me and then
No,
do
no,
this
I
on
need
the
to
property.
get-
Go ahead and do this to me, guys. Come on now.
If you ain't doing nothing to you, nobody's gonna do nothing to you. Come on now. Nobody's gonna do a thing to you.
You walk yourself, okay?
No, they're gloves there and everything now. Come on now.
Gloves. That's where they came from.
Come on now.
That's from EMS.
No.
Keep going.
Now, come on.
I mean, look at him. This is wild. And we know that he ends up making it to court. He makes it to the jail. We know they don't get him here. So his fears are unfounded, but does he believe them? And what's going through his mind and what's happening to him? It's the first time I'm seeing these clips. Maybe you guys have seen them before.
You're all right.
Now. Y'all don't kill me now. Yeah.
Go this way.
And part of me makes me think, like, I don't know if you ever had a friend. I had a friend who was, not the best boyfriend and stuff back in high school and college to his girlfriends. And he would always think that they were cheating on him or running around on him when he was actually running around on them. So it's like projecting. Maybe he's doing that because, he was plotting to come out and hurt and get the judge. And that's exactly what he did do. Maybe he thinks people are also doing that to him. I don't know, but it's very, very strange behavior to me.
Nope, no, don't. Not that way. Not that way. Come on.
He speak to my house.
No, you can't talk to him. You can't talk to him. Come on, man. You know better.
Come on now. Don't put me down in jail. Here.
Is that jail or is this?
This is right here.
Come on, get inside.
There you go. That's the left right here. I have it. The door. Give a second.
There should be nobody in there.
No,
Come on,
nobody's
now.
on lockdown.
Come on now.
So I want to play for you now my new exclusive interview with the Sheriff Stines' attorney. And I appreciate him for talking.
All right. So we're going to jump to the interview now.
Does that play into the sheriff shooting the judge using inmates? I think you saw our stories. We were in Kentucky. There were a lot of people telling us about officials and the judge using inmates for sex. Does that play into the sheriff shooting the judge?
Well, Brian, what I can't do is I can't comment on the veracity of any of the claims made.
He can't comment on any of the veracity of the claims made, meaning he's not going to get into the details of what he knows right now just yet, but it doesn't mean none of them exist. It doesn't mean nothing was going on in the background. So that's important to parse out what he is saying and what he's not. This lawyer's also done a ton of interviews. And if you remember from Alan Jackson's interviews, everything was done purposely. Everything was curated. We're giving these interviews for a reason. So just put that in the back of your mind. Maybe that's what he's doing. Maybe not. I don't know. But just put that in the back of your mind that he has given a lot of interviews and he has definitely allowed people to think and believe that something more is going on here. So I tend to believe there is something going on in the background. And we've heard more again about the ring and the stuff happening in his chambers and the guy getting arrested for doing this. And, we've heard a lot more about what's going on in the background, but there's still just so much we don't know. And he's not going to let us in on any of the details as of yet.
I will say that my client's actions were the result of a mind that was overwhelmed by pressure, fear, and untreated illness. I will tell you that.
Pressure, fear, and untreated mental illness. Pressure, fear, untreated mental illness. So that leaves open everything I said with those clips. He could use it to show there's really something bad going on and he does have something to fear and there is pressure and he's afraid for either himself, his daughter, his wife, but also untreated mental illness. Is that clip we watched, is that going to be evidence of untreated mental illness?
My client, the civil deposition that involved similar claims was a focal point of the week leading up to the shooting that you've seen. I can tell you that our client was aware of, had become aware of certain conduct. We believe that there was a network of power that was concerned with what would come out in the civil suit. We believe that our client began to feel powerless, isolated, and trapped. We believe that he felt that there were threats made against the well-being of his wife and his daughter. And so the revelations that have come out, again, I cannot speak to those. I don't have any involvement in those claims in terms of, having investigated them. But I will say that the lack of an independent investigation into these claims underscores the the feelings of isolation that we believe our client felt.
Was there I mean, we've talked about the federal lawsuit, and we did reporting, with the recording with the interview with the woman who said that she saw the sheriff, not the sheriff, the judge having sex with inmates, and there was this deposition coming up that the sheriff was going to have to be a part of. Was that weighing on him? I mean, how does that play into things? Was that just coming up very shortly, or I don't know if you can talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I think that I think it's really no secret to anyone who's investigated this case or taken a look at it. The real line of when you could see a decline in my client's mental health was, it coincided with the deposition. There was a great amount of anxiety leading up to the deposition, and this really it only happened after he gave the deposition, and so he was concerned that there was that there were a lot of eyes that were watching to see what and listen to what he had to say.
And you mentioned,
So was the fear based on what he said in his depo? Was it based on what was actually happening around? Did he have more involvement? Did the judge have more involvement? Was he afraid the judge was going to do something to him? Did the judge make any threats? So many questions after listening to this lawyer's explanation. And like a civil deposition, it's like he already gave the deposition, so why was he acting like this afterwards? Did somebody reach out and talk to him about his deposition? His phones, the emails, text messages, phone calls, that's going to be a huge part of this case as well.
threats with his daughter and wife. I don't know if you can elaborate on that a little bit. What do you mean?
Well, I mean, he felt that his wife and daughter, were physically in harm's way.
He felt his wife and daughter were physically in harm's way. Confirmed. Now, we heard stuff about either the daughter's name was in the judge's cell phone or they called the daughter from the judge's cell phone and she picked up. What exactly how does that prove to him that his wife and daughter were in harm's way? And the lawyer said he believed they were in harm's way. Were they actually in harm's way? That's a separate question.
And I think that's reflected in some of the post-arrest videos that have been shown. That's what I'm comfortable saying at this point. He felt that his wife and daughter were in jeopardy.
And clearly himself. I mean, this is a guy that's paranoid that thinks somebody's going to beat on him, end his life. Like, that's very clear. He keeps saying that. And the lawyer said, that's all I'm comfortable saying because I believe that's already come out in the clips that you guys have seen. So he's trying not to add anything to the information that's publicly available, which I think is appropriate and how you should do it. I think that's smart. I think that's correct. I think that's proper. Do not say more.
And he believed that they could be physically harmed and or taken.
Did the sheriff did the sheriff ever tell you? Did the judge ever specifically threaten his wife and daughter?
I can't comment on anything that my client said directly.
Okay. Did your client see any?
By the way, Brian knows that. Brian takes no offense to that answer. Brian expects that answer. That would be my guess. As a guy who has done this a lot and talked to a lot of people in this lawyer's position, he's not surprised the lawyer wouldn't give him that, but he asked the question, right? He's going to ask the question, but the lawyer did the absolutely right thing. Be like, I can't tell you anything my client said.
Thing ever in Judge Mullins' chambers, similar to what we've been reporting, what some of these women have come forward and said?
And again, this would be coming from his client. He's probably not going to answer this question. I don't know. I haven't watched the whole interview. I just saw a couple clips of it. But again, he's asking these questions to try to get more into the details. Like, what did he know about what was happening in those chambers?
Again, I can't comment specifically on what my client saw. But I will say that I do believe there was concern about things he had seen.
How do you feel about the allegations from women like Ty Adams, who we interviewed, saying that she had sex countless times with the judge, that other inmates had sex with the judge, that it was just sort of known that if you did that, you would, get out of being in trouble, basically?
But, I prosecuted for Commonwealth, Kentucky for a long time as an assistant Commonwealth attorney, and I always took the claims of alleged victims very seriously. I have no idea about the veracity of each of these individual claims, but I will say that I am concerned why we don't see an independent body of investigators looking into those claims. Again, that's that is.
And again, he's saying like he's trying to be politically correct and as nice as possible, but let's get some people to investigate. Was this judge a really bad guy? Was he doing really bad things? Is there a reason Mickey Stines should be afraid when he walked into that office? Was he in fear for his life or somebody else in fear for their life? Like, a lot of those questions could be answered. And again, Brian Etten put out that interview that she had some very horrible claims and allegations to be made that you guys can watch. If you guys want me to break that down, maybe I can do that. Let me know in the comment section. But there's just a lot going on in the background of this case.
That's in some ways outside of this case, in many ways outside of this case. But should they be investigated? I think definitely. Someone should take a look at this. I mean, there's a lot of things being said. There's a lot of things that we know did happen. That's how we have a video in the judge's chambers, right? Is because as a result of a civil suit and a criminal prosecution that involved that area. Now, as to what occurred and what specifically did or did not happen, I think until somebody investigates that and somebody that does it in an unbiased manner, then we don't know. But I do think, again, that underscores the lack of that independent investigation. Again, underscores the feeling of isolation that even the sheriff of a county can feel. So, so I do think that someone should investigate it and get to the bottom of it.
I'm just thinking about, if the allegations are true that this, sex ring, whatever you want to call it, was at such high levels, is the sheriff at all worried, or are you at all worried about his safety now while he's incarcerated?
I don't. I feel that at this current moment that our client is safe. As to his family, we believe they're safe. We hope they're safe, and I'm not aware of any specific threats having been made after this case was initiated.
That leads me to believe maybe the threats were unfounded. Maybe it was part of a mental break, or because of all the attention and all the eyes and all the heat on him now, whoever was threatening the wife and daughter, they have backed off because they don't want to get involved in whatever is going on here, especially because a lot of people know about those fears now.
But I think that there are, or there has been a history of silence in Letcher County that is troubling. And, I think it's something that, without an independent investigation into what underlies all of this, then that silence is perpetuated.
Do you have any indication that there may be an independent investigation now because of what's been coming out and just because of people being perplexed by why the sheriff would shoot the judge? I mean, has anything happened recently that makes you think that maybe they will investigate in terms of like at the state level or even the feds?
Yeah, I don't know. I know that these allegations were made to certain investigative bodies even prior to this shooting. So to say that do I have confidence?
He's like, people knew about this. And why is this happening in this county? And again, there are some other cases that people want to talk about corruption and counties where stuff doesn't happen and people look the other way and stuff's covered up and everybody's involved. And people are like, no, judges couldn't be involved. Judges shouldn't be involved. It's rare that they are, but maybe it's not so rare, right? And so everybody thinks their county is individual and the only one that deals with these problems. But Letcher County here, they've got some problems. And this lawyer is saying, hey, we need to take a look at this. We need people to take this serious. We need to actually investigate this.
So there's an investigation.
That's why it's so wild to have sheriff on judge crime. That's something that if that's not going to highlight the possible corruption and the need for independent bodies to investigate, I don't know what is.
No. Am I aware that there is an investigation currently? No. But I do know that according to the same recordings that I've listened to on television myself, these claims were made to the Attorney General's investigators prior to this shooting as a result of the civil case and the criminal investigation of Mr. Fields.
And it's just interesting when you go there, we interviewed obviously Ty Adams and talked to some other women off camera, but there is this sense that this wasn't really a secret, what was going on. I mean, people just seem...
A, yikes. B, gross. Like, it wasn't a secret. People knew about this and they just kind of let it go. Gross.
It seems like people knew, just like locals.
Yeah, so again, Brian, my wife and I both are from the adjoining county there in Eastern Kentucky, and I can tell you that these things have been said for quite a while. Again, I can't personally comment on the truthfulness or the veracity of any of that, but especially given what has transpired, I am curious why if there has been an investigation, what did it yield?
It really sounds like he's saying they need to investigate this. Something's going on here. We need to look into it.
Will there be an investigation? And so yes, I've heard the same things. I'm aware of the allegations, and but again, the fact that we don't have an investigation into this again underscores how even a sheriff can feel pretty isolated.
Yeah, I guess I'm just thinking if I'm the attorney general's office or if I'm the FBI and I hear about a acting sheriff who shot, and it's on video, who shot a judge in the chambers, and then these other things come out. I mean, even before these other things came out, when I heard the story, I just thought, why would the sheriff do that? You know what I mean? Who has a family and who has, he's the sheriff. You know what I mean? Like, I would just think there would be enough there already to warrant someone coming in and saying, like, what is going on in this county?
I don't disagree with you, Brian.
What role?
So that's the lawyer again, leaving the breadcrumbs. It's like everybody's wondering the same thing. This makes no sense. Why did this happen? How did this happen? There's got to be something more. There's got to be something more. It's a song, right?
Will the sheriff's mental state play in the upcoming trial?
Well,
Let me back that up because that's kind of why we're here. He's asking how the mental state will have an effect on the upcoming trial.
On in this county?
I don't disagree with you, Brian.
What role will the sheriff's mental state play in the upcoming trial?
Well, again, I don't want to get into the specifics of our defense, but it's been you've seen in the public filings and in the hearings that we believe that his mental health is going to be a large piece of our defense.
And just, I guess, what caused him to get to that point?
Well, I mean, I think if you look at,
it's going to be a major part of their defense. We knew it. It's the only defense that really exists for the situation we have at hand here. We said that from the jump. That's the only way. They don't just take a plea deal and he goes away. And that's exactly what's going to happen.
the anxiety, if you look at the pre-existing illnesses, if you look at the pressure, the lack of sleeplessness leading up to and following the deposition, and I think that created a very a very dangerous combination when you put that in conjunction with mental illness. And so the specifics of that I'm not going to comment on today, but we're very confident that we will be able to demonstrate that there was a mental disease or defect, and that he wasn't able to appreciate the criminality of his actions, and that we believe that he shouldn't be criminally responsible.
So there's this whole rehab component, and some of the women we spoke to have talked about it too, that there's this connection between the drug rehabs and the violation of inmates' rights. Have you heard anything about that, or in your investigation? Or
we have had lawsuits against some rehab facilities for what the employees did with our client who's in there. And I'll tell you how they're looked at as plaintiffs, because if you're in there, you've had struggles. Our client had a lot of struggles prior to this happening to her. And it was so hard for her to even realize, like, yes, I was the victim of this. And eventually when she came to us, after talking to her family and stuff, it's like, these cases are brutal and nobody really cares about these people. And this is the least shocking part of it at all, that, these are the people they're victimizing. People, I mean, they make like SVU, Law and Order shows about this. And it's because it really does happen. And these are the people that get targeted, these kind of crimes. And they get targeted by people that are seen as like, these well-off, these members of society that are helping people there to serve and protect judges and lawyers and prosecutors and cops and, people that work at these rehab centers. And it's all kind of coming together, people working at the jails. And we've seen in other cases how that's absolutely the fact. I mean, if you just think about Sandra Birchmore, she could be included in some of this discussion as well. So it's like, it tracks. We need to do something to stop it. And this lawyer is trying to highlight, like, these independent bodies that are supposed to be investigating this, they've heard these claims. Why aren't they investigating it? And he could still be absolutely guilty of a crime, right? Either the highest crime that he's charged with or some kind of lesser included, and this other stuff still be true, right? It's not one or the other. They're not mutually exclusive.
I mean, I know you can talk about what the sheriff specifically told you, but have you come across anything in that department?
Yeah, at this point, I can't really get into that. I don't want to comment on that part of the investigation at this point.
Okay, I understand. And just in terms of the where things stand, I saw there was a hearing last week. You were asking for a $50,000 bond for the sheriff. Doesn't seem like that has come through. What sort of happens next? I don't know if you can kind of give me a little bit of the timeline and what you expect and when the trial may be.
Well, I think the Commonwealth indicated in the hearing that they were going to seek funds to get another expert. And so I think that
it might even be a case where the Commonwealth gets some experts that agrees with the defense, and they end up dropping the charges down to something that everybody can agree on. And if you reduce the charges and both experts are like, yes, this was a mental break, so he didn't have the right mens rea, so maybe it's manslaughter, whatever it may be, that's something that's very realistic in this case. And we've had happen before as well. We've had it happen on insanity defenses where the charges ended up getting dropped. And their experts agreed that an insanity defense was proper for this case, and he was not guilty by reason of insanity. We've had that happen. It does happen, and they're getting additional experts. So that's something that's open and out there as a possibility as well.
That will, that will certainly set us backwards in terms of getting a trial date. But I think that, there's a lot of pretrial motions that I'm sure will be heard, and we're looking to get a trial date, hopefully, as soon as possible.
I'm assuming in your career, this is this is sort of an unusual case for you. I mean, it's an unusual case for everybody following it, but this must be interesting just sort of you said you're from a neighboring county. Just sort of on a personal level, it must be sort of an interesting one.
Well, I think it's an unfortunate one. I think that the people of Eastern Kentucky are extremely, in the majority of these folks in Eastern Kentucky are fine folks. They are extremely resilient. But I do believe that
he's talking to his jury pool there, right?
There has been a history at times of corruption in certain areas, and I think that you hope that if anything from a tragedy like this, you would hope that it gives an opportunity to shine light on how we got here.
So I'm definitely going to stay on this story, you guys. I mean,
so think about that, right? The history of corruption. Think about what defenses he could build around that. And if you can make the victim in this case less sympathetic, and you turn your judge you turn your sheriff client into a victim or into maybe a vigilante trying to stop it. Enough is enough. Maybe he knew what was going on. Maybe he was complicit at one point, but he changed his mind and now everybody was going to be against him. Like, this is straight out of a movie. This case is a movie. Okay. We've had multiple ones of those. So we can just put that to the side that, yes, this literally feels like a movie, but I can see him building his defense multiple different ways. And again, we get little breadcrumbs from each interview that he does. He gives a little bit more. And I think that's because publicly more and more is coming out, which allows him to talk about this case more and more. I find it very interesting myself. This is something that I'm definitely sticking with. I'm definitely watching. You guys have been sending me stuff. I know a ton of you are still following it. A ton of you have reached out to me, told me this is a case that I am still very interested in. So you guys let me know what you thought of this interview in the comment section. Please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit the reminder bell so you don't miss any future videos on this case. But for this episode, that's all we got. Till next time, I'm out of here. Thanks for watching another episode of The Lawyer You Know. If you enjoyed the episode, please hit the thumbs up and share with your friends who may be interested here on YouTube. And don't forget to subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram, X, Facebook, and TikTok. And don't forget to check out the Lawyer You Know podcast featuring new episodes every week. And if you have a case that you want to personally talk to us about in your life, if it's a personal injury case, wrongful death, catastrophic injury, car accident, truck accident, or slip and fall case, please email us at lawyeryouknow@gmail.com. And of course, all these links I just mentioned are included in the description below on this episode and every episode. So until next time, this is Peter Tragos, The Lawyer You Know.